Have you ever stopped to think about your life? Not just as a random series of events, but as a journey? A quest, really. A series of 8 epic battles that every single one of us has to face. These are the challenges that forge who we are and who we're meant to become. So what if we looked at it that way? That every major phase of your life, from the very beginning to the very end, is built around one core conflict. A tug-of-war inside you that you have to resolve before you can level up and move on to the next great adventure.
Now, we're not just making this up. The person who drew this incredible map for us was a brilliant psychologist named Erik Erikson. And you should think of him less as a stuffy academic and more as a cartographer of the human soul. He's the one who charted this entire lifelong journey.
He gave his theory a kind of fancy name, psychosocial development. But don't let that fool you. The idea behind it is actually pretty simple. It's all about the constant dance, or battle, really, between our inner world, our mind and our feelings, and the outer social world of people, culture, and society.
Okay, so before we jump in, Erikson gave us 4 basic rules for this journey. Rule 1, this isn't just about childhood. This journey lasts your entire life. 2, every single stage has a central challenge, a crisis that you've got to face. 3, how you handle one crisis directly impacts how you'll handle the next one. It's all connected. And 4, and this is the best part, if you successfully navigate a challenge, you unlock a new inner strength, something he called a virtue.
So where does it all begin? Well, it starts the second we're born, with the very first and maybe the most fundamental challenge of all. It's about answering one simple question. Can I trust this world I've just been thrown into? This is the first great battle. Trust versus mistrust. Think about it. As a baby, you are completely and utterly helpless. If your needs are met, if you're fed, comforted, and cared for consistently, you learn that the world is a pretty good, reliable place. But if that care is inconsistent or absent, you learn mistrust, and that can stick with you, creating this deep-seated feeling that the world is just chaotic and dangerous.
And winning this first battle is so much more than just feeling safe. When you win, you unlock the most foundational virtue of them all, hope. That core belief that even when things are bad, help will come. It's the bedrock of everything else.
Okay, so once you have that foundation of hope, you're ready for the next stage. This is where our little hero learns to stand on their own 2 feet, both literally and figuratively. This is the challenge of autonomy.
We're talking about ages 1 to 3 here, and if you've ever been around a toddler, you know their favorite phrase is, "me do it." This is the battle of autonomy versus shame and doubt. They want to make their own choices, control their own bodies, and explore everything. But if they're constantly shot down, criticized, or over-controlled, they start to develop shame and doubt their own abilities. That can really haunt a person for years.
And this is where it gets real. When a little kid is allowed to dress themselves, even if the shirt is on backward and the shoes are on the wrong feet, they are building confidence. Success in this stage forges the powerful virtue of will. That's the belief that you can actually control your own actions and make things happen in the world. And here it is. This is the whole map laid out in front of us. You can see right here how each stage builds on the last. We start with the hope of infancy, then the will of toddlerhood, and it just keeps building all the way to the wisdom we're all aiming for at the end of our lives. So, let's see what comes next.
All right, the next couple of challenges are all about leaving the nest. It's about venturing out into the wider world of playgrounds, school, and friendships. This is where we really start to figure out, okay, where do I fit in with all these other people? First up, the preschool years. This is the battle of initiative versus guilt. You know this age. It's all about imagination, making up games, planning big adventures, and trying to be the leader. If that energy is encouraged, we develop a sense of purpose. But if it's always being shut down, it can create a nagging sense of guilt about our own ideas and desires.
And then we hit school. Now the battle is industry versus inferiority. All of a sudden, we're being compared to everyone else, in math, in reading, on the sports field. If we find things we're good at and get encouraged, we build this sense of industry. But if we don't, we can be left feeling, well, inferior. Nailing this stage unlocks the absolutely crucial virtue of competence.
So, all of that leads us right into the classic teenage struggle, identity versus role confusion. This is the big one, right? The ultimate questions. Who am I? What do I really believe in? Where do I belong? It's that time where you're trying on different personalities like their clothes. Getting through this successfully means you find an identity you can be true to, which unlocks the virtue of fidelity. And with that, we enter the adult stages. You can almost think of this as the main quest.
Now that we have a sense of who we are, we have to face the biggest challenges of all: finding real connection, leaving a legacy, and trying to make sense of the whole thing.
So, as a young adult, the battle is intimacy versus isolation. Can we open ourselves up and form deep, meaningful, committed relationships, or are we too afraid of getting hurt and we end up feeling totally alone? The reward for winning this one is maybe the greatest of all, the virtue of love. But the risk, isolation, is just as powerful.
Then, in middle adulthood, our focus kind of shifts outward. The battle becomes generativity versus stagnation. The big question here is, am I creating something that's going to outlast me? Whether that's raising kids, mentoring younger people, or contributing to society. This is how we develop the vital virtue of care. The alternative is stagnation, that awful feeling of being stuck and unproductive.
And that brings us to the final stage. The quest is almost over. And now it's time to pull out that map of the life we've traveled and just look back, to really take stock of the entire journey.
This is the ultimate crisis: integrity versus despair. As you look back, do you see a life that was meaningful, a life you can feel a sense of satisfaction and peace about? Or do you see a string of regrets and what-ifs, leading to a bitter despair that you've run out of time?
This really says it all. This is the prize at the end of the road. If you can look back and feel that your life, with all of its ups and downs, actually meant something, you achieve integrity. And the virtue you unlock here is the most profound one of all: wisdom.
So you see, it's not just 8 random events. It's 8 battles, all interconnected, weaving together the complete story of a life from the very first chapter all the way to the last word.
So why does this map even matter? Well, for one, it shows us that we never stop growing. It reminds us how much our community and our culture shape us, and it gives us a really helpful way to understand why we, or other people, might be struggling at certain points in life. But remember, it's just a map. It's a guide. The actual territory of your life is completely unique to you.
And that really brings us to the most important question of all. Look at this map and find yourself. Where are you right now? Which of these great battles are you in the middle of fighting, and what virtue are you trying to build?